A very good afternoon to all the participants who have joined us across the country for this national webinar on molecular mechanisms and methods available in nCoV-19 detection and update. The COVID awareness has increased at a global level, and today we are looking at options with regard to the curation and detection. So this topic plays a vital role for all upcoming researchers. With these few words, I request our Dean IT, Dr. Kumaraguru sir, to welcome the participants. Sir?
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to welcome the gathering. First and foremost, I would like to welcome our resource person of today's event, Dr. Satish Kumar Sabapathy, Research Scientist, Multidisciplinary Center for Biomedical Research, Arupade Vidu Medical College and Hospital. It belongs to Vinayaga Missions of Pondicherry. We are extremely happy, and on behalf of entire Guru Nanak College, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. It's my pleasure to welcome our principal, Dr. N.G. Raghunathan, our Dean Research, Dr. J. Jayanti, and the convener of this event, today's event, Dr. Gayatri, and on all other deans, head of the departments, faculty members, and students, and participants from across the country. It's my pleasure to welcome every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kumaraguru sir, for those wonderful words. Now I request the organizing secretary of this program, Dr. Gayatri, to introduce the resource person of today.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm glad to introduce Dr. Satish Kumar Sabapathy, sir. Sir received his MSc Gene Technology from Bharathidasan University and PhD from ICAR, SIBA, Chennai. Later, for his multitude research projects, he received a senior research fellow from Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Central Institute of Brackish Water Aquaculture. He served as a scientist with B grade for 8 years in National Institute of Epidemiology, ICMR. Currently, he is working as a research scientist in Multidisciplinary Center for Biomedical Research at Arupade Vidu Medical College and Hospital, Puducherry. He is an expert in virology and histopathology. His area of research focuses on infectious diseases, virus surveillance, viability, transmission, and viral vaccines impact evaluation. He committed himself to the further research in analyzing of human viral and bacterial pathogens by gene-based molecular markers, whole genome amplifications of environmental samples, and cloning into vectors. He is an expertise in phytogenetical relationship studies through DNA sequencing, cloning of VP28 and RR1 gene into litmus vector, double-stranded RNA producing into in vitro synthesis, and in situ DNA hybridization for virus infections, confirmations in shrimps. To his credit, he has 15 research papers published in well-reputed journals. He has guided more than 50 MSc and MTech students for their research projects. He served as a member in several selection committees, advisory boards, and research grant reviews and panels, and continues to be called upon by many government and private foundations to evaluate the work of others. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Gayatri, for the wonderful introduction of the resource person of today. Now it's over to our resource person of today, Dr. Satish, to take over.
Yes, ma'am. Respected Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, sir, Principal of Guru Nanak College. Respected Dr. J. Jayanti, Madam, Dean and Director of Research. Respected Kumaraguru, sir, Dean of Guru Nanak College. And respected Dr. E. Gayatri, Madam, the Conference Organizing Secretary. And my dear students and my friends. Good afternoon to all. Now, I'm going to take an important topic on molecular mechanism and methods available in novel coronavirus disease 19 detection and update. Let us start with a brief introduction about nCoV-19. So according to WHO, the World Health Organizations, viral diseases continue to emerge and represent a serious issue to public health. And also the viral diseases are the major limiting factor of human populations. So now it's happening everywhere. Due to coronavirus, there's a lot of death has been occurred. So in the last 20 years, several viral epidemics has been occurred. For example, During 2002 to 2003, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus outbreak has been reported. During 2009, H1N1 and influenza virus outbreak was identified. During 2012, Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus has been reported. And 3 months back, I mean, December 2019, again, this severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus has been reported, and this virus re-emerged on China, Wuhan, Hubei. So, see now, frequently we are hearing for past 6 months, stay at home, frequently hand wash, always wear mask, and keep social distancing because of this novel coronavirus disease. So let us understand the novel coronavirus disease. So what is nCoV-19? nCoV-19 is a novel coronavirus disease 2019. So this disease caused by severe sorry, some interruption has occurred. Can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
This nCoV disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome virus, coronavirus 2. This virus belongs to single-stranded positive RNA. Just a minute. Yeah. There are 7 types of coronavirus so far have been identified that can infect humans. Now let us see the major symptom of nCoV-19. Once the patient, the person affected by this virus, he may lead to get fever, sore throat, cough, difficulty in breathing, tiredness, easy fatiguability, headache, and sometimes he may get diarrhea, anosmia, and ageusia. The symptoms may appear in 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. Some person may get symptoms within 5 days. Some person may get after 10 days also. And some person, even up to 20 days, he won't get symptoms. But the person is infected by this virus. The appearance of symptoms may differ person to person, depends on the innate immunity. Now, this slide shows the mode of disease transmissions. The infected droplets and virus viability plays a vital role in virus transmissions. See, the virus could be transmitted through infected droplets because the virus always present in the respiratory tract because it is affecting the lungs. So this virus is a respiratory pathogen. Also, the virus could be transmitted through infected droplets from the infected persons. If the infected droplets get on your hand, the infected person, if they touch any persons, if they touch any surface area, the virus could be easily transferred to the humans. So in any disease, prevention is better than cure. Here are the 4 major preventive method of the disease. The first one is hand hygiene. See, now always our government suggesting, please do proper hand wash. Whenever you go outside, and again you come back to home, without hand wash, don't enter your home. So always the government is giving suggestions. So do proper hand wash. If you do proper hand wash, you can be able to avoid these viral infections. The next method is respiratory hygiene. See, already I told you, this virus present in the respiratory tract. Use any tissue paper, wiping of your nose. Use any tissue paper, handkerchief, or any other items. So we have to discard in proper way. Otherwise, the virus could be transferred to other person also. The next method is social distancing. So according to World Health Organizations, we have to keep at least 1 meter distance between two persons, because these infected droplets are spread up to 1 meter. Okay, if you follow this social distancing, you will prevent the viral transmissions. The last one is this coronavirus always target senior citizen people, because these aged people are always susceptible for this viral infection. Easily, the virus can attack these aged peoples, particularly those who have diabetes and heart problem. If any other, specifically, for example, kidney disorders, liver disorders, they may get easily viral infections. So always, government also suggesting the senior citizen to stay at home. Now, this flow chart shows the entire type of RNA virus and its family. So our coronavirus comes under Coronaviridae. Now, let's see the cross-section model of coronavirus. Here we can able to see the spike glycoproteins, membrane proteins, heme agglutinin, envelope proteins, RNA and nucleus proteins and E proteins are present on the variants. This is a positive strand RNA also present on the nucleus. This is another way of coronavirus variant, just for visible clarity. Here we can able to see the nucleic acid capsid protein genes, membrane glycoprotein genes, and the envelope protein E genes. Spike proteins are present on the variants. This picture shows the electron micrograph of coronavirus. It has halo type or cone-like appearance, and this virus diameter is around 80 to 125 nanometer, and genome is about 27 to 32 kilobase. And this virus belongs to positive single-strand RNA. The genome size is very, very small, 27 to 32 kilobase. But this virus, small, teeny virus, completely devastating our whole human populations. So, this slide, this schematics, pictures represent the genomic structure of E1 coronavirus, 6 coronavirus. Here, the 5' cap, 5' cap structure and this 3' ended with the polyadenylation stay is indicated here. Open reading frame 1A and 1B is indicated in red color, and the structural proteins, envelope proteins, membrane proteins, and HE proteins as indicated in blue color. At the genome, accessory proteins NS2, NS2A, 3A and 3B as indicated in gray color. These all proteins responsible for the replication transcription machinery. So this slide shows the SARS-CoV-2 genome organizations. You see the two ORF 1A and ORF 1B encoding the multimeric proteins, spike proteins, and the envelope proteins. This slide depicts the replicase transcriptase enzyme complex that are responsible for the transcription replication cycle. Here, so we all must know the replication mechanism of SARS-CoV-2 strains. How this virus can enter in our human body, how this virus infects our cells. We all must know this mechanism. because now everywhere, everyone is talking about coronavirus. We should know how this virus attacks our human cells. First, this virus can enter either ACE receptor or plasma membrane fusions. ACE receptors denotes the angiotensin converting enzymes. This receptor helping to bind the viral particles. If this receptor does not help to bind a virus particle, I'm sure this coronavirus will struggle to enter our human body cells. So this receptor is the culprit. Okay. So after entry into the cytoplasms, the positive RNA. I told you, this coronavirus belongs to positive RNA. This positive RNA is translated to produce replication machinery like helicase and the RNA dependent RNA polymerase enzymes. Next, the negative strand RNA goes to the process of the process of transcription and the replication cycles. Next, the translation of virus structural protein process is taken here. For example, envelope proteins, membrane proteins, and spike proteins translation process is taken here. After that, the freshly produced positive RNA and structural proteins are assembled with the Golgi complex. After that, a new progeny virus, the virus particle, is released into the exocytes of the cells. Here, the red mark, the red box indicating red mark, possible inhibitor for the viral particles. For example, flavipiravir, pencilivir, remdesivir, ribavirin, and lopinavir. These are the possible inhibitor for the viral. These are the inhibitors that inhibit the viral replications. You people also can try how this inhibitor react against this virus. Now let us see the general viral diagnostic methods. There are several methods available for detecting the virus. Histopathology method, molecular methods, which include dot plot, in situ DNA hybridization, polymerase chain reaction, real-time PCR. Antibody-based diagnostic method, which include indirect immunofluorescence, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, dot blotting, Western blotting, and immunohistochemistry. Here is the interesting technique for concentration of virus from the water. There are several methods available for concentration of virus from the water. For example, membrane filtration, water flow filtration, cross flow filtration, chemical phosphorysis. So all this method has the merits and demerits. But the standard flow filtration has 95% advantages. By using this method, there is no virus loss and the virus recovery is higher. There is no dislodging of viruses. Here, how to concentrate virus? I'll tell you. First, you collect water. Then you do pre-filtration with the 5 micron membrane filter. Then you collect supernatant. Again, you do the microfiltration with the help of 0.2 micron hollow fiber cartridge. Then you collect supernatant. Then you do the ultrafiltration by 100 kDa membrane hollow fiber cartridge. Now you have to collect the retentate. This retentate is called as viral concentrate. Now you do the RNA extraction from the viral concentrates. After that, you can do real-time PCR analysis or any PCR diagnosis. And I mean this viral concentrate, you can use it for metagenomic study and cloning purpose also. Now, what happens? Virus in the environment. See, soil temperature will also influence the viral occlusion in the soil, and higher soil pH will also induce the viral occlusions bodies in the soils, and viral occlusion bodies on DNA in soil influenced by the predation by protozoa and binding of soil particles and the digestion of nucleases and proteases enzymes. There are several factors influence the virus persistence in the environment: physical, chemical, and biological factors. So the higher heat will also induce the viral inactivations, and the UV light acts as a germicidal. 3 months back, some researchers have studied and published the reports. The UV light plays a major role in coronavirus viability. And the desiccation and the drying also increase the viral inactivations. The high pressure also induces viral inactivation. If you talk about chemical factors, the higher pH and salinity and ammonia also act as a virucidal. Inorganic ions and organic ions will also induce the viral inactivations. And I already told you the proteins and nucleases also will degrade the virus in the soils. We talk about the biological factors, microbial activity and the protozoal predation biofilms. They also contribute the viral inactivation, removal, death, and absorption to biofilms. And also it will protect the inactivations of virus. So let us see the previous studies on virus survival in the environment. Usually, virus abundance higher in the sediments. Virus can persist up to 10 months in the soil. Depending on the soil types, virus can survive up to 170 days. Virus remain viable longer in bottom layer of the soil than the top layer of the soil. This may be due to protection by top layer of the soils. Now let's see our coronavirus viability. See, this severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 can able to survive, and it could be detected in aerosol up to 3 hours. In copper, up to 4 hours. In cardboard, up to 24 hours, the virus can able to survive. In plastic, up to 72 hours. In stainless steel, up to 72 hours. Steel, up to 32 hours. The polypropylene, up to 16 hours. So based on this study, so SARS-CoV-2 virus more stable on plastic and stainless steel than other materials, for example, copper and cardboard. This work was conducted by the National Institute of Health, USA, and this work has been published in New England Journal of Medicine on April 2020. This study is very difficult to conduct. I already told you, this is airborne pathogens. If you handle the virus, definitely person will get exposure to the virus. So whenever we are handling the virus, we need to take proper acts, precautions. Otherwise, the virus will enter and will affect our humans. Now, let us see the methods available in COVID-19 detections. This is a very important information. We must know there are two types of methods available for detection of COVID-19 detections. One is direct method and another one is indirect method. Indirect methods used to detect the presence of virus and presence of antigen. This could be achieved by the real-time PCR and the rapid test method. See, all you aware of that. Few months back, 4 months before, our government outsourced this rapid detection method, and there was also a lot of controversy going on or purchasing of this kit from the foreign country. The next method is indirect method. It is used to detect the antibodies. That means immune response against the virus. Antibodies detection is very important. It plays major role in coronavirus detections. It comes under IgM and IgG. So, which is the best method? Each and every method has the merits and demerits. Now I'll tell you the merits and demerits. In real-time PCR, merit is 100% sensitivity and 100% specificity. But it has also demerits. It is highly expensive and laborious. In the antigen detection method, the merit is high specificity and it is very cost effective. But it has also demerits. It is very low sensitivity. We cannot tell this result is 100% positive or 100% negative. And the last method is antibody detections. That means IgG and IgM. And merit is cost effective and it is used for the mass examinations. And the demerit is it will not be used for the early diagnosis. It may be used for the zero prevalence. So clinician, doctor always suggested to do the real-time PCR. So real-time PCR reference techniques. So antibody detection is used for the epidemiological survey. But I can say this both techniques are powerful. Now let us see the dynamicity of now COVID-19 infections. Based on the coronavirus infection and the clinical criteria, there are 4 periods there. 0 to 5 days, this period called as asymptomatic period. In this period, virus is infected, but there is no symptom. And 5 to 14 days, called as symptomatic period, this period is person symptom is appeared, and if you do IgM antibody test, you will get positive. But here 0 to 5 days, if you do IgM or other antibody, IgG antibody, you will get negative. Here 0 to 5 days, we have to perform the real-time PCR. And 14 to 21 days, the period is called as decline phase. Almost the patient is immunized. 21 to 28 days, it's called as convalescence phase. Almost the patient is recovered. Here, increasing level of IgG antibodies and the decreasing level of coronavirus load. Let us see the stages of COVID-19 detection. Viral RNA and antigens starts before symptoms. Here we have to perform the real-time PCR. And the viral RNA and antigen will disappear on 28th day. And IgM antibody will produce on 7th day, and it will disappear on 21st day. IgG antibody will develop on 14th day and is processed for many months. Till 7th day, if you do antibodies test, you will get negative. This period is called window period. Day 28th, no RNA and antigen will be present. Only IgG will be present. This is sign of good recovery. This means increasing level of IgG antibody, the patient is immunized, and a decreasing level of viral load. You may get some confusion. Now I will tell you how to interpret. This information just keep in mind. Day 0 to day 5, asymptomatic phase. Day 0 to day 7, this period is window period. You get only RT. If you do PCR test and the antibody test, you will get only PCR positive. Day 7 to day 7, the IgM antibody will produce. It will process up to 21 days. After 21 days, the IgM antibody will disappear. And day 14th, IgG antibody will develop. And if you do test IgG antibody, you will get positive. Day 1 to day 28, RNA and antigen will be positive. After 28th, this RNA and antigen will be disappear. That means if you do after 28th day PCR test for detection of viral load, you will get the negative results after 28th days. This means the patient is completely recovered, patient in active stage. Now, let us see the nCoV panel. See, 15 years back when this immunodeficiency virus was discovered, after that whoever undergone for surgery, our clinicians used to test the HIV panel. We are always suggesting to test the HIV panel, a PCR test and the ELISA test and the CD4 counts. It's mandatory. Like that. Now, COVID panel also mandatory. Not even for surgery. If you want to admit it in hospital, now clinicians are suggesting to do the nCovid panel. So what is nCovid panel? RT-PCR, IgM, IgG. Okay. If you do nCovid panel, how to interpret? I tell you. If you get RT-PCR negative, IgM negative, IgG negative, the patient result is negative, not immunized. Patient under risk. He may get anytime infection. If they get RT-PCR positive, IgM negative, IgG negative, it is preclinical phase. It's asymptomatic period. Already told you, no? Less than 7 days. Patient is infected by the virus. And to get RT-PCR positive, IgM positive, IgG negative, is acute phase of infection after 7 to 10 days of infections. And if you get RT-PCR negative, IgM positive, IgG negative, it is an active phase. The virus is infected up to 7 to 10 days. In this stage, low viral RNA is present due to the IgM antibody production in the human. If you get RT-PCR negative, IgM positive, IgG positive, it is active phase, more than 14 days. Here, coronavirus load is very lower, but this indicates the good prognosis of the patient. And if you get RT-PCR positive, IgM positive, and IgG positive, it's good. This is active phase of infection and a good prognosis of IgG, and here increasing level of viral load. Decreasing level of viral load and increasing level of IgG antibodies. Due to these IgG antibodies, viral load is decreasing. Finally, after 28 days, if you get RT-PCR negative, IgM negative, IgG positive, the result is good actually. Patient is immunized and almost recovered. Here, in this stage, IgG antibody level is increased, almost the virus level is decreased. Now tell you the summary of the results. Don't keep in mind everything. You may get confused. Just to keep in this, the 3 points. If you get PCR positive, RT-PCR positive, IgG negative, this result is infected patient. The patient is infected. If you get PCR negative, IgG negative, the result is negative, but patient under risk. If you get PCR negative, IgG positive, patient is immunized. IgG antibody already developed. So patient is in active stage. Now, let us see the reverse transcriptional real-time PCR for nCovid-19 detections. Now, everyone talking about the COVID-19 PCR, COVID-19 PCR. So we must know what's happening, what are the steps, steps involving in the process. So I tell you step by step. Before going to see the PCR test, we must remember inventor of PCR. We all know, I think everybody knows, everybody aware of him. Who was invented the PCR? The man is Carey Bank Mullis. He is an American biochemist. He got Nobel Prize in 1993. Unfortunately, he was died on September 2019. Because of him only, now everyone is doing RT-PCR. So we should remember. Now, already I told you, this coronavirus is a respiratory pathogen, can spread through the infected droplets. Whenever you handling the coronavirus or you handling the sample, you have to wear the PPE, that means personal protection equipment kit. Okay, during sample collection and sample process, and while doing RNA isolation, you have to wear the PPE kit. Otherwise, you may get exposure to the virus. During master mix preparation and real-time PCR process, you have to wear lab coat, gloves, surgical mask in order to avoid the viral infection. Now, how to collect the throat and nasal swab? As I told you, this virus present in the respiratory tract. So, take a sterile cotton and collect back side of the throat and tonsils. Don't collect side of the mouth and tongue. You will not get the exact viral particles. If collect side of the mouth and tongue means. And also collect the specimen from mid-interior nasal portions. After collection of the specimen, the collected swab must be immediately immersed into the viral transport medium. This slide represents the overall process involving in the COVID-19 real-time PCR. So here, the sample has been collected. From the collected samples, RNA is purified. From the purified RNA, cDNA is converted. Because this is single-strand RNA, we must convert into complementary DNA. This process is influenced by the reverse transcriptase enzymes. This is very expensive enzymes actually. This enzyme is derived from the Morani Mullen leukemia virus. So after cDNA conversion, you have to do the real-time PCR with the gene-specific primers, gene-specific probes, and the nucleotides, and the DNA polymerase enzymes. After this master mix preparation over, we have to keep inside the instrument for detection of the coronavirus. Now, I tell you how viral RNA is extracted. Take sample and you add viral lysis buffer. Buffer contain carrier RNA. Why carrier RNA must add? Because mRNA has the 5' cap and the 3' polyadenylation tail. The carrier RNA has the T tail, that means thymine tails. If you add the carrier RNA, it will influence the viral RNA expression. The yield will be more. Viral lysis contain the phenol and the coenzyme thiocyanate. It will degrade the viral particles. Now the RNA molecule will be come out. After lysis, we have to precipitate the DNA by addition of ethanol. Now the whole mixture need to transfer into the spin column. The spin column contains the silica gel. This silica gel is specifically made for the binding of the RNA. Then centrifugation is carried out to remove the debris, that means proteins and lipids. You have to do dry spin with the centrifugation process. Finally, we have to elute the viral RNA by addition of elution buffer. So after elution of viral RNA, we have to process immediately. Otherwise, we have to store at minus 80 degrees Celsius, because this is single-strand RNA. It will easily degrade. While doing RNA extraction, the area must be cleaned. We don't know where this RNase enzyme will be present, because this RNase will degrade the RNA. These are the major enzymes targeting for the COVID-19 detection. For example, RNA-dependent RNA polymerase gene and the envelope gene and the nucleic acid genes. Now, most of the laboratory and the ICMR also suggested to target those genes. So now, how real-time PCR is performed? Before going for real-time PCR, we need to prepare the master mix. This process comes under pre-PCR room. So after extracting the viral RNA, we have to prepare the master mix. It's contain nucleus-free water, tag buffer, magnesium sulfate, and magnesium chloride. For this magnesium sulfate and magnesium chloride will induce the reactions, and we have to add the gene-specific primer and gene-specific for reverse primers and gene-specific probes and DNA probes enzymes. So all enzymes will influence the RNA, this PCR process. Finally, you need to add the template RNA. So after once these steps are over, we have to keep under instrument. Kept inside the real-time PCR to conduct the PCR run. After runs over, we have to analyze the reports. How will you analyze the reports? It's a very important process. The PCR analysis of results is very, very crucial also. Sometimes, I will tell you before, sometimes patient, if doctor, if send the positive patient, sometimes you may not get the amplifications. So you will get a negative results. That time you may really get confused. The analysis PCR report is very, very complicated. Okay, see here, you can able to see now this y-axis response for the amplifications cycles and x-axis response for the run. Here, 14th cycles amplifications has started. This indicates the patient has the higher viral load. And also 13th cycles, the amplification has started. This indicates the patient having low viral load. If the patient doesn't have virus, you will not get any amplification curve. Okay? Here, the standard curve, whether our run is valid or not. If any deviations there in standard curve, our run is invalid. So melting curve here, this analysis of melting curve used for the to know whether our primers and probe is efficiently working or not. If you get any dimers, the run is invalid.
There's a question from Jamil Hussain. Can you please repeat the interpretation on result or result?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Now, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're putting the question in the chat box, sir.
Result interpretation, ma'am. Here.
There are a few questions. Can I just read the questions, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Why the kit method for testing COVID has failed?
Test method, real-time PCR or rapid kit method, madam?
Just put the kit method for testing COVID. I think he means the rapid kit method only.
Already I told you, rapid is not a sensitive method, actually. You cannot say it is 100% positive or 100% negative. It has disadvantages. That's why they stopped, So that's why there was controversy going on while purchasing this kit. The real-time PCR is the gold standard technique.
Yes, sir. Then how do we diagnose the asymptomatic cases of COVID-19?
Yes, madam. During that period, we had to do the real-time PCR because at the time only virus is present. So if you do real-time PCR, you will get positive, madam. Definitely.
There are a few questions from Krishna Shinde. Has a few doubts. The genome is double-stranded or single-stranded? I think sir mentioned in a lot of places. So would you like to take up the question? Is the genome double-stranded or single-stranded? If single-stranded, then how to decide whether the strand is positive sense or negative sense?
This is a positive sense actually. This RNA has the positive sense RNAs. We code the sequences, and it will produce once you enter into the human body. After that, it will produce a negative strand. Positive strand is the coded sequence, madam. Usually, this the RNA and virus itself contain positive sense RNA.
Yes, sir. So if your video
How
is
to
ready,
detect?
can we
Hello,
continue
sir.
with the video?
Yes.
Sir, how to detect positive sense or negative sense?
Positive?
How to detect that viral genome is positive or negative?
No, see, this is, we are not detecting only, we are not targeting only positive RNA or negative RNA. We are detecting the gene present in the virus. That's all. Well, in theoretical part, we can able to differentiate positive sense and negative sense. Positive sense has the coding sequences. Negative stand only put is the structural proteins. So positive sense will put is the functional proteins. While doing PCR, we are targeting the what are the major genes present in the virus. No? So now actually, ICMR suggested to target the RDRP, RNA dependent RNA polymerase genes, envelope genes, and nucleoprotein genes. These are all the functional genes we are detecting. See here now the expression step is going on. So DNA polymerase, it's inducing, increase the leaf strand synthesis. So now again, denaturation step is occur. Again, DNA will unwind. Now the annealing step is started. The gene primers binding with the corresponding gene. So Tachman probe consists report of fluorescent genes, and it will excite the fluorescence. And other quencher probe as attached on the 3 prime. Now the expression step is started with help of DNA, Taq DNA polymerase enzymes. When cleavage occurs, the probe will emit the fluorescence. So now multiplication of copies process is started. So each and every step, the fluorescence will be captured by the PCR instrument. The fluorescence can be the PCR has the exciting filters, tungsten halogen lamp, mirrors, emission filters, and charged coupled device camera. When the fluorescence exit from the fluoropores, from the FAM channels, so each and every PCR cycle, fluorescence could be detected by the coupled charged device. So each and every cycle, we'll be able to see the obligations plot on the monitor. So positive test, we can able to see the obligation curve. I hope you may got some, some idea about this real-time PCR test by seeing this video. Now, so now, why few Indian Nobel laureate? Can you able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, why few Indian Nobel laureate? But among them, only 2 people comes under life science category. Hargobin Corona and Venki Ramakrishnan. Who is Hargobin Corona? Actually, he only discovered the genetic code, a 64 codon. So each and every codon responds for the protein synthesis. When he was working in USA, he got Nobel Prize. Okay, he did not get chance in India. And another person is Venki Ramakrishnan, and he got Nobel Prize. I think 2008, right? He got Nobel Prize on ribosomal localizations process. Okay. Why few peoples? I'll tell you. Because our Indian laboratory, research laboratory, has lower infrastructures. Lack of infrastructures is very, very I mean, all the laboratory doesn't have the established, well-equipped laboratory, and whoever doing research, they could not able to get the quality reagents and chemicals. And many people, whoever has interest to do research, they could not be able to get chance to do research in India. Okay, and the funding also very, very less. I think now, after this coronavirus outbreak, once over, a government will allot the huge fund for the research and development. After that, we may get good facility, well-equipped laboratory. After getting this facility, we may start our research work on coronavirus, not only coronavirus. Whoever interested in their particular field, they can start. Okay, my humble request to researcher and who are going to do research, kindly create and discover and get Nobel Prize. Because we are importing all the equipments, reagent and the vaccine, drugs from the abroad, foreign country only. Why not possible here? It is possible because we don't have the enough facility. So my friends, I'm telling you, while doing research, definitely you'll be facing a lot of problem. You will struggle. So during the time, don't lose your confidence. Okay? And don't blame anyone. Okay? Whenever you are facing struggle or problem while doing research, many people always used to discuss with me, I'm not getting research, I'm fed up with the work. Don't blame. Okay, don't lose confidence. Whenever you lose confidence, just remind our missile man, the people president's words. What he said, no? துன்பத்துக்கே துன்பம் கொடுக்கணும். புரியுதுங்களா? அதை மைண்ட்ல வச்சீங்கன்னா, if you don't have food up to 1 week, you will get the energy. Okay? Then always keep in mind, nobody cares about your story until you win. So win. So our motto is win. Winning is our motto. So finally, I want to thank whoever involving this COVID-19 infection preventions. I like to thank specifically for the clinicians, nurse and doctor, nurse, laboratory technicians, and healthcare workers, and police persons and other volunteers, because they are the real warriors. Thank you for your kind attention. Now, I would like to thank our principal, Jayanti Madam, Kumaraguru Sir, and our Organizing Secretary, Gayatri Madam, for giving this wonderful opportunity. So you can catch me at any time by 877-860-4410, and you can WhatsApp me by 99400-74536, and you can mail me through satishjeen@gmail.com. Actually, now in our laboratory we have started COVID-19 detections. Now we have planned to do the virus viability, this coronavirus viability. So now we have established the laboratory, and also we are planning to do to develop antiviral gene therapy against this coronavirus. So now we are setting up cell culture laboratory also. If you have any doubt regarding this presentation, so you can contact me at any time. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, Dr. Satish sir, for that wonderful presentation that you have given. There are a few questions. Can I read out those questions to you, sir?
Yes, madam. Please go on.
Dear participants, please maintain questions pertaining to this particular presentation. We do not want to take generic questions during the webinar. Sir, there are a lot of compliments regarding your presentation. Sir, many have told that you have given a very lucid presentation, and it has been a very steady presentation, and people really like your presentation. It's been very clear and very informative. And there is a question from Dhritiman Chanda. Thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. The question is, can we carry out metagenomic study in COVID-19 And how long the virus remain active, especially in currency notes? If
Especially,
yes, what are the precautions should we follow during handling the currency?
see, actually, still, there is no study on coronavirus from the water samples because this is airborne pathogens. Okay, first, if anybody conduct the study, we may conclude, okay, this coronavirus present in the waters, but it is not possible at all actually. For other viral pathogens, we can use it for this TFF technique for doing a metagenomic study. If anybody do the research, I am planning to do this study also actually. This coronavirus viability and the metagenomic study from the water samples. If I get results, definitely I will let you know the informations. Study need to be conducted. No one has studied actually from the water samples regarding this coronavirus.
One more question. How primer dimmer formation can be detected using melting curves?
Madam?
How primer dimmer formation can be detected using melting curves? Anjali?
Yeah. If the primers doesn't have the high specificity and the high sensitivity, it may create a dimer. That's why that nowadays people are using Tachman probes. It has highly 100% sensitivity and 100% specificity. If you use cybergrain probes, definitely you will be getting the primer dimers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, participants, mute your audio so that we can read out the questions. There is one question from Dr. K.K. Kamani. He has asked on surface behaviors of COVID 2019. How much do we actually know, and what is the suggestions for the precautionary measures during handling, packing, and to deal with corona?
Yes. Actually, already I told you the viability of coronavirus up to 72 hours. This virus can viable on the stainless steel. So we should be always careful. Okay, that's why the government is suggesting keep social distancing. Whoever infected, they should not come out from the home. Okay, we always should be careful until this pandemic is over. We cannot predict because only 3 people have studied the viability of this coronavirus and the environmental. Again, a lot of study need to do. Then only we will conclude. So, what are the environmental parameters that influence the viability of coronavirus? Because everybody is afraid to do the viability of virus study because it is airborne pathogens. That's a major problem. Here, now we are facing difficulty for screening of virus itself. But doing viability studies, you think how it's difficult. But now we are planning actually. So in the future, definitely we'll do more research on that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. There is one Priyanka who has asked, can you please tell how the virus will survive in the body? Means how it combines with the DNA.
How is the virus survive in the body?
How the virus survives within the body, inside the body.
This will already explain. This virus when entered into the cytoplasms and it will replicate. Again, this process, the whole replication process will be continuing. So up to the IgG antibody. Once the IgG antibody produced, automatically the virus will be disappear. Maximum 28 days, the virus will present. After that, this virus will disappear. Because of the IgG antibody level of increase in level of IgG antibody present in the body. So already our human body responded against this virus. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There is one question from Krishna Kishore. How will we know that COVID-19 has totally disappeared from Earth? According to your estimate, how long will it take for its disappearance completely from the surface of the Earth? That's what he meant.
How long? 28 days, around 28 to 30 days, madam.
No, he's asking entirely this virus to be removed from the Earth completely. It will go from the entire planet.
Oh, entire planet? Pardon, again, madam, please read the question.
Kishore Kumar has asked, according to your estimation, how long do you think this virus is going to be there, and how long it will take to completely eradicate from the planet?
Yes, it's a good, a very interesting question actually. See, even our US presidents also struggling. He also don't know how to, because even all CDC people, WHO people, everybody working on this. Okay, we cannot predict, but according to me, definitely, within 6 months it is possible to eradicate this virus from the planet. We will definitely suppress this virus. Definitely, yeah.
Yes, sure, it's going to be a long time because of this. We have a mutating virus, and we really don't know. By the time we understand something, it just turns on to something else. It's going to take a really long time for us to understand the virus and to find a solution for that. I think, sir, 2 more questions you can take up. Sir, would you please explain the transformation of a corona negative patient again into corona positive one?
Yeah. See, sometimes again the reinfection, no? Yeah. This is happening everywhere actually now. Actually, yeah. Actually, sometimes depends upon the innate immunity. If the patient recovered from the virus, after a few days, again the virus reinfect the patients, like dengue. If the dengue virus infect the patient, so after a few months also again it will reinfect. It may be happened, but the recovered patients should always keep distancing, and always if you take the healthy food, definitely our immune system will act against this virus. Particularly the cytokines and interferons will produce more, and this viral particles will be completely removed from the persons. I mean, destroyed. It will not be spread from the person.
Yeah, thank you, sir. But there is one Dr. Kamani, K.K. Kamani sir wants to ask you some question. Kamani sir, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. We have not muted your microphone.
Kamani sir, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, so I'll read out one last question. What is the efficiency of RT-PCR technique for the detection of COVID-19?
It's 100% efficiency, madam. I can say if you use the Tacman probe, it will give 100% efficiency. If you use another like a cyber probe, no, FRED probe, it won't give proper results. It's 100% efficiency, madam. It can detect even single virus. Can be able to detect a single virus of coronavirus.
Yes, sir. Biotechnology HOD has asked, Dr. Bharati Ravikrishnan has asked, why does the virus exhibit multiple symptoms?
Madam?
Yes.
Why does the virus exhibit multiple symptoms?
Yes, madam. It's a good question actually, yeah. Because it is affecting, first it's affecting only the respiratory tract, no? Usually, after affecting the virus, patient used to get the diarrhea also, and losing of smell and taste. Maybe due to this mechanism need to study elaborately, madam. Even I can also able to understand these viral mechanisms. Why patients are getting other symptoms like losing of smells and diarrhea, and I'm also a little bit having doubt. I will refer and tell, madam.
So one last question, sir, from Dr. Anand Desing. Is there any genetic differences in recurrence of COVID-19?
Genetic
differences in recurrence of COVID-19.
Difference is there, madam. Differences is there actually. Differences.
Hello, madam.
Yes,
madam.
Sir.
Madam,
yes,
now
sir,
is my mic is unmuted. I will ask.
Kamani sir. Yes, you can ask your question, sir.
Namaste, Jain sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, my main question is how to study the surface behavior of this coronavirus. If you know the surface behavior of the coronavirus, then
Okay.
we can use the packing materials and the avoiding sealing so that our economical system can sustain or we can start, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
That study, sir, whether that study is.
That can be possible actually. See, we have to do the study. I mean, all the materials. I mean, the environmental materials with help of cell culture. With help of cell culture facility, by using cell culture facility, this study can be possible, but need more funding actually. The government providing huge fund. Each and every institute will start the study.
Sir, now they have to do. Otherwise, our economical system will cease, sir.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Our honorable Finance Minister, Dr. Nirmala Sitharaman, has to decide. If she provide a huge fund, definitely this can be the study can be possible. So we will conclude how long this virus can able to survive and the different materials
Yeah,
according to the we will plan it.
Now, day-to-day materials also, if you know about that one, definitely we will be aware and the spread will be controlled very easily.
Sure, sir.
As well as some of the industries they can start, sir. There are many industries sealed down, sir. So that economical situation also sealed down.
Yes.
That is the fundamental study needed now. I think, sir.
We will write on the ICMR also, sir. Definitely, we will take this point to the ICMR DG at the bottom, Raghu. Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Thank you, Kamani sir, for that wonderful remarks that you have made and showing us the direction where it is going to go. Thank you, Kamani sir. Kamani sir is a very active participant in all our webinars, sir. Yeah, so thankful that Kamani sir has joined yet again today also and supported us and also thrown some wonderful questions for the resource person to answer. Thank you so much, sir.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Yes, Arun sir wants to ask a question. Please, sir.
So, Sadish sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, Arun. Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, we worked together in NI and Dengue project.
Yes, Arun. How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Yeah, fine.
So, first of all, I want to say this is a good presentation, sir. I really like it very much.
Thanks.
I have two questions. So, RT-PCR is considered to be the gold standard in diagnosing the SARS-CoV-2.
Yes.
Okay. And the sensitivity and susceptibility is mainly based on the primers we are adding onto it, right?
Yes.
And the primers are basically designed upon the stable genes of COVID-2, right?
Yes.
And the Chinese researchers already said that they have find around 100 to 400 serotypes have been found to be mutated from the SARS-CoV-2. So what's the possibility of mutation on the stable genes that we used for detecting for designing the primers and used for detection in COVID-2? And does this affect the susceptibility and this one like a negative result? If suppose a stable gene is mutated and we are designing the primer, we are using the primer which is not mutated, and does this affect the susceptibility in the results? And if there is no problem in stable genes, why can't we target a protein that is happened from a stable gene and use it for the vaccine protection?
Yeah, it is possible. What you're saying is correct. It's possible. For your answer, I will refer and tell you. I need to study actually. It's a good question.
Is the possibility in mutation occur in the stable genes that we used to do design for the primers?
Okay,
and if the stable genes are not yet mutated, a protein will express from that stable gene itself, right?
Yeah.
Can we use the protein? Can we target a drug or a specific vaccine which will affect the protein that will occurred from the stable genes?
Okay.
These are my two questions, sir. If you want me, I can mail you those.
Yes, you mail it to me. I will. You mail it to me. Okay. So I will tell you the answer. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can I ask a question, please?
Okay.
Sir, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, what is the role of restriction endonucleases. Is there any possibility to use the restriction endonucleases for cutting down the proteins of virus?
See, actually, yes, this endonucleases enzymes already, several studies have been studied. Now, already I pointed out now, only the inhibitors only now they suggested. This is now no one has actually started this study also actually in a particular, specifically this coronavirus. If you do this, if you use this endonucleases, definitely we may get good results also. Okay. Right now, this possible inhibitors only, I mean, the suggested inhibitors will act against this viral replication process.
Sir, can we predict any? Sir, one more last question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we predict any other future viruses of the same type?
Sir, please again.
Can we predict any future viruses of the same type in future?
Future, no, same type.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, it's possible, sir. Because day to day, it's environmental conditions they are varying, no? Definitely, it's possible.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Please, I think one last question, Dr. D. Anand Desing is asking, and we will wind up the session. Yes, sir.
Hello,
Anand, sir, please.
Dr. Satish, congratulations to you. I have one doubt. Is it the virus is in vitro cultivable?
In vitro, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Expensive.
It is safe only. That's need a proper equipped laboratory, cell culture laboratory.
Yeah, in the so far we listened that there are a lot of mutation strains are reported.
Yes,
so I thought it may be the immune system. Maybe once again it should be synthesized new IgG for that fight against new strains.
Yes.
So why not? Is it possible to identify new drugs in the in vitro system?
Yes,
and
possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Why not? I think so far there is no in vitro cultivable drug discovery is not encouraged. That
Yes, sir. Because
Indian system of there are a lot of medicinal plants are available to carry out these in vitro systems.
Yes.
So I think it should be concentrated. Then only it may be effective against COVID diseases.
Yeah, definitely.
Views, sir. Yeah.
Because
Thank you
very
much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants. I can understand because this COVID is become such a big globally topic. That is the necessary. We are all interacting so much and trying to understand the virus and trying to find a method to control the virus and do research on it. I think Dr. Kamani sir and Dr. Anand sir and Arun sir has posed some very beautiful questions, which is actually a very good topic for the researchers to take up at a molecular level. It's a fantastic topic for researchers. Please keep this in mind. And once we try to understand the virus, we cannot always say it's going to be eradicated and another thing. It is always good scope is available for research in this area. Thank you so much to all the participants for this active participation that they have shown. So there are, I can say there are a lot of questions, and already you have to participants have to understand we have moved almost 1.5 hours since we started the session. If you have any particular questions, we will be sharing the email ID and the phone number of Dr. Satish. The very reason we have today made Dr. Satish to take up this topic because he has a very good expertise in infectious diseases and he's been handling it for a very, very long time. And he's the right person to answer it because already he's working on COVID-19. So that's the reason we invited him today for him to interact with all the other molecular researchers who would like to know about the virus or want to take it up as a research. So please, we will be sharing his PPT also. We'll be sharing his email ID and the phone number. You can always contact him. And I would extend the same thing as I told to Dr. Prithviraj sir. Satish sir, we will be very happy to collaborate with you in future and to bring out some scope where we can really contribute in terms of research to the society. At the outset, let me give a formal vote of thanks. I thank our General Secretary and Correspondent, Sada Manjit Singh Nair ji, and a motivating principal for Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, for having given us a wonderful opportunity to interact with all the researchers in the entire country and bringing them together under one single platform as Guru Nanak Center for Research. Thank you so much. And a special word of thanks and gratitude to our resource person of today, Dr. Satish, who has done such a wonderful job in giving us the information right from what is COVID, what are the precautionary measures we should take, and what is the entire genomic structure of the particular virus, and what would happen in terms of the future of the virus. And thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session that you are given. We are indeed grateful to you for being here with us. And thank you to all the wonderful participants. Once again, you people have shown us your strength and your support. And we expect the support in future. Thank you, one and all.
Want to know more about these topics? Please follow us at Guru Nanak Center for Research YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you.